So you and I are both members of Authors Against Book Bans, and I kind of put out a call to the romance channel saying, does anyone want to talk about book bans with me? And you answered the call. And so when we talk about book bans, I think we're kind of using it as an umbrella term. How do you want to anchor that term for this conversation?
Yeah, well, I would like to, as you said, an anchor term and drill a little bit deeper into one, book banning, and then the other side would be either what people can call soft bans or really library defunding, because that's what's happening a lot in my state, specifically in some of the states around where I live. So, book banning typically is found in public library systems or school library systems where a book is challenged for whatever reason by a member of the community, and the school board or the teachers or administration decide to pull that off the shelf and it is no longer available for the children or to the general public to read. And that has seen a rise, especially since 2021, specifically with groups like Moms for Liberty, which was formed in Florida in 2021 to go around and challenge a lot of books in school libraries that specifically show characters of color and LGBTQ characters. The other half tends to be library defunding, which I said happens a lot in my area of the country. And that is when no books are specifically called out. However, the county government, the state government, whichever level is, conservative and worried about these books being available for consumption, they will either punish a library by pulling their funding for refusing to follow their demands, or they'll just preemptively start pulling things around to make sure that libraries no longer and librarians no longer have the power to, defy whatever they want to be. So, like a few examples in my state of library defunding was in 2023, a county judge illegally fired the head librarian of the county system. Illegally, because the judge does not have the authority to do that. It would be a library board. And it was because she refused to relocate certain books away from the children's section. They specifically said that they didn't want materials that are not subject matter or age appropriate for children due to their sexual content or imagery to an area that is not accessible to children. And she refused, saying she would not move them because it's a small library. There's not a lot of place. She'd have to put them behind a locked door and then no one could have them. So she said that was basically banning them. And they fired her. And there's now a lawsuit where she's represented by the ACLU. And then, like in 2022, there was a library up in a different county of my state, very rural, who had a gay pride exhibit beside the entrance to the children's section. And I imagine it was a lot of YA and children's stuff since it was located by the entrance to the children's section. A group got very angry about it, said that was inappropriate sexual material for children. And so later that year, where it was the millage tax for elections, one of the local things was, do we want to continue this millage tax to keep funding the library at, I don't know, like $4 million? And so they basically put on a misinformation campaign telling the locals in the county the library has, $6 million in savings. They did not need the millage tax. We need to cut it. And so they did. The elections, the millage tax was voted down. And what that actually meant was the library lost half of its funding pretty much overnight. And they had to cut 15 librarians. They had to end programs that went to nursing homes and daycares. And they had to cut a lot of hours. So it's been about 3 years and they still haven't been able to vote that funding back in. So a lot of these are very like punitive measures against librarians and libraries who want to keep books available. Or then our state legislature voted to try to get rid of the school or the state library board so that they could move oversight of all the libraries under the governor and the executive branch. And there would not be like that level of expertise of librarians who really knew what they were doing and could protect local and rural libraries from a lot of these book banning efforts.
Yeah. Thank you for that overview. It is such a local fight. I have learned when you pay attention, there are different counties, there are different towns, there are different states. It happens, it's happening countrywide, but each municipality has a different type of fight happening. And I just want to call out that, we established in the conversation with Olivia how librarians are not just like some random person choosing books, but they're highly trained, highly educated, and they're already using industry level selection practices to determine what's in the library and what is displayed where and what is age appropriate. And so then these outsiders saying, oh, we need age appropriate books don't have any expertise except for their own biases.
Exactly. Yes.